So the other day, I actually went ahead and made a video about the best iPhones to pick up, and I did it last year too, and I didn't really do the best Androids to buy in that specific year, so I'll do the same philosophy to the next set of phones, which are the Androids, and pretty much talk about the best Androids in my opinion that you can pick up in 2021, specifically used Android phones. Obviously, the best Androids of this year are going to be the S21s, the next OnePluses, the next LGs, the next whatever Xiaomi phones, Huawei phones, but I'm going to hit on every single $100 increment and recommend phones that I would probably recommend in 2021 that are going to be getting cheaper and cheaper. So the first set of phones that I would recommend, and a lot of these you can buy off, from eBay and all these other websites. I will link them down in Amazon in the description below. They'll probably be a little bit more expensive, but again, higher quality. You don't have to find whichever ones, and they're usually, ones I would recommend. But the first set of phones, which are the $100 to $200 phones, I have 3 different ones that I would recommend. Now, the very first one I would recommend is the Google Pixel 3a. This specific device was a beautiful device when it first came out, and I thought at that time it was probably going to be the best phone of that year. It's funny enough, nobody really talks about it anymore, but this phone was just released in 2019, and it's a killer phone. It still has a pretty good looking display. It's an OLED display. It had a really good camera setup on it, and even at that time it wasn't super expensive. It was a pretty budget phone, but especially now it has gone down in value quite a bit, and you're getting some really nice features built into this specific type of phone. You're getting a really decent, single camera setup on the back. But my favorite thing about the Pixel 3a is the software. You're going to be getting a really good version of software on it. It's stock Android if you can't tell or if you didn't know. And you're going to be getting software support for at least like 2 more years or something. There's also a pretty big development community. So the custom ROMs are also there on this device as well. So in terms of the Pixel 3a, that's probably my first recommendation in this price tag. Now the other 2 ones, specifically I have one, the LG G8. This was a phone that I was kind of hesitant to put on here just because I don't really think it's an amazing phone right now because, the software isn't that great, and these phones just lose their value like crazy. It is insane. This phone hasn't even came out that long ago, and I've been seeing a ton of these for less than $200 in so many places. Now, it doesn't have an ugly design on it. It has a pretty good display for the most part. The camera setup on the front's not bad. The camera on the back, or the cameras on the back, aren't that bad either, and this phone kind of was a flagship device, so it still feels pretty premium, which is something I really do like. It feels really, really premium for the type of phone you're getting. But I feel like the biggest downside of this device is the software, and that might be why the price just went down like crazy on this specific phone. And the final phone that I would probably recommend at this price tag, the $100 to $200 device, is the OnePlus 6. Now, this device, in my opinion, is a really, really good phone. This phone has a lot of capability for sure. It definitely isn't like the most, best looking thing anymore. It doesn't have like the craziest amount of features, but for sure, for anybody's task they have to go day by day, you're going to be getting a really good experience off this type of phone. The performance was pretty good. The software is really, really good in my opinion still, and there's still a development community behind it. You can still get a lot of features out of it that way. So definitely when it comes down to it, the OnePlus 6 is one of those phones that I'd recommend in this price tag. Now the next batch of phones, which are the $200 to $300 devices, there were a lot of them, but there were 2 that stuck out, so I wanted to just throw them out. The first one being the Google Pixel 3. Now this device, I was kind of like, because you can get a Pixel 3 XL at this price tag too, so I'd probably group them together. But the 3 XL I wasn't a huge fan of. I didn't really like the way it looked. I like the Pixel 3 a little bit more. So with these devices, you're still getting beautiful displays. You're getting really good panels, which is something I really do like. You do have some bezel on it. The Pixel 3 XL has a really weird design. I'll never understand it. But you have things like USB Type-C, a pretty okay build quality, even though the back's not my favorite. Really good cameras on the back, pretty good cameras on the front. But again, the biggest asset of these devices is the software. You're going to be getting software support for quite a bit of time. So that's another really big thing to keep in mind. Again, it's not perfect, but you're going to be getting software support for quite a bit of time, and the longevity of these devices is still completely there as well. The next set of devices are the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. Now, these specific devices are really, really, really premium feeling phones. I mean, these things just came out like 2 years ago, well, technically 3 years in 2018. And these type of phones have a lot of capability for sure. They have beautiful displays, beautiful back glasses. They have micro SD card slot support, beautiful cameras, The only downside of it is probably the software, because it's not going to be getting any more software, updates. It's going to be getting like security updates and stuff, but it's not going to be getting anything beyond that. So that is a little bit of a problem. Again, it really just depends on what you want to and what you expect from a device. In my opinion, it's definitely not my favorite thing about this phone, but I think for the most part, these sets of devices, the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, as well as the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the Galaxy S9 Plus, are really, really good contenders for that $200 to $300 devices in my, experience. Now, the next set of devices, the $300 to $400 phones, I came up with 3 different devices that are kind of in different ranges, which are interesting because they have the same price tags for the most part. The very first one being the Google Pixel 4a. You can pick up this specific phone for $350 right now, but again, prices will go down. So if you're watching this video like 6 months later, there's already probably the Pixel 5a or something like that, but you're going to be getting this type of phone for a very cheap amount, no matter whether you get it now or later. Now, with the Google Pixel 4a, you're getting a really good looking front, a hole punch display, so not a bad looking panel at all, especially for that price tag. USB Type-C, fingerprint sensor, headphone jack, really solid camera on the back, and an okay front camera. But the speed and just the, stability of this phone, as well as the smoothness of this phone, is great because of the software. This is a Google made phone and it has stock Android, doesn't have anything crazy on it. And that is a huge thing about this type of phone. You have that type of capability on the Google Pixel 4a, which a lot of other phones that I mentioned here, besides like the OnePluses, can't really compete with because of the software experience. So like I said before, that's a huge asset for the Google Pixel 4a. Now, the next specific device is the Samsung Galaxy S10e. This device, I've seen a lot of these go for even less than $300, but I threw it in here because, on Amazon, they're a little bit more expensive. And this type of phone, in my opinion, has been such a beautiful phone since the first day I bought it. It has been an insane experience, and really, I know a lot of people own it still because they're, interested in it, because anytime I make a video about this phone, a lot of people hype it up and a lot of people enjoy it. And I have a lot of respect for that. This is a tremendous phone for a majority of people out there, and has a lot of capability, and it got even better this year, or in 2020, because it got another extra version of software, support on it. So it actually extended its life cycle a year extra, which is huge. So that in and of itself is another huge thing about the Samsung Galaxy S10e. Beautiful display, really good feeling in the hand, micro SD card slot support, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, the whole 9 yards. The Samsung Galaxy S10e has it, which is a huge thing about that phone. Now, the final phone I would recommend in this specific price tag range is the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. There were a couple of other, Samsung devices that I was looking at, and OnePlus devices too, but this type of device has so much capability for sure, which is something that's so awesome. Now, at the end of the day, as I said before, no phone is perfect, so it's not like you're going to be getting this phone and being like, oh, you have the best phone in the world, but the Note 9 still has a lot of capability for sure. You have, a beautiful display, which is nice. You just got Android 10 on it, which is cool. No One UI 3, but One UI 2 is still perfectly fine for everything you're going to be doing with it. I think I said micro SD card slot support before. S Pen support, USB Type-C, Samsung DeX, headphone jack. This phone is a beautiful phone as well, and for that price tag, gets a thumbs up for me for sure. Now, the $400 to $500 range of devices, I came up with 2 different ones, but honestly, there probably could have been way more in my opinion, and there's probably like a lot I'm missing out, but the devices that I came up with are the Samsung Galaxy S10 and the Galaxy S10 Plus, as well as the OnePlus 7T and the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now, with the Galaxy S10 and S10 Pluses, these phones just came out in 2019, and they are beautiful phones as well. I feel like I'm just going to be using that beautiful thing over and over again. Now, with this type of device, what I can tell you is that at the end of the day, when you get a phone like this, you're going to be set. You have a hole punch display, fingerprint sensor in the display, USB Type-C, micro SD card slot support, very fast chipset, very smooth chipset, software support still on both devices, great cameras. These phone cameras are amazing, and even when I compare them against my, iPhones of this year and even the Samsungs of this year, these cameras are still very, very good. You don't have 8K capability, but you have really good front-facing and back-facing cameras on both the Samsung Galaxy S10 and the Galaxy S10 Plus. And then finally, with the OnePlus 7T and OnePlus 7T Pro, these are also really good devices as well. The 90Hz refresh rate on the 7T Pro is an awesome feature, which I think the OnePlus 7T also has, which is really good. Beautiful displays on the front as well. Nothing ugly about these phones. They feel really, really good in the hand. USB Type-C, which is a given at this, price range. The software experience on these phones is really, really good. If you pick up this type of device, you're not going to feel like you have a, ugly type of phone or a phone that has horrible performance. You're not going to be getting that from either one of these devices, in my opinion. So definitely the 17 and 17 Pro give my thumbs up for sure. Now the final price range, which was that $500 to $600 price range, I figured after $600, there's a lot of brand new phones that you can just pick up, the OnePlus 8s and all that stuff, which are really good at these price ranges. But the $500 to $600 range, I came up with a couple of different phones. The first one being the Note 10 Plus. In my opinion, the Note 10 was a weird phone. I never liked it, including the Note 20. But the Plus versions of those devices, including the Note 20 Ultra, were great phones. And the Note 10 Plus is a pretty good phone. You have a beautiful display on it, which is really nice. You just got One UI 3 on it too, which is really cool. It's going to be getting it very soon. You have, Samsung DeX. You have software experience, like I already stated, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, the S Pen support. There's a lot of different capability with the Note 10 Plus, but because of the hype of the Note lineup, it's gotten down. The price range of the Note 10 has also gotten down quite as well. So you can pick up a Note 10 Plus for probably even less than $500 in a lot of places, but for sure the Note 10 Plus is one of those phones that I would highly recommend to a bunch of people. Now the final phone, and honestly, these are two different devices. I freaking love these phones so much. They were probably my favorite phones of 2020, and these are the Samsung Galaxy S20 and the S20 Plus. Right now in 2021, these phones are less than $600 in a lot of different places. Amazon, they're a little bit more expensive, which I'll link down below, like I stated, better quality and all that stuff. But with these devices, I guarantee you by the end of June of this year, these phones are probably going to be around $400, probably even less than $400. Just like how we saw with the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus. I'm telling you guys right now, that's probably what's going to happen. So the Galaxy S20 is it just doesn't really get too much better than this. I'm curious to see how they're going to screw up with the Galaxy S20 based off all the leaks and everything. But with the S20, you're getting 90 Hz refresh rate on both the S20 and S20 Plus. Beautiful, probably the best cameras right now on any phone on the back. Beautiful front-facing cameras, a hole punch display, Samsung DeX, microSD card slot, the whole 9 yards. Like these phones just came out like not even a year ago, and they've already depreciated quite a bit, which is insane. So those are pretty much all the devices that I would recommend at those specific price ranges. Like I said, all these will be linked down below, and you can get them from there if you want to. So, and you can help support the channel at the same time. But that really pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much for you guys to hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.